I need you to listen carefully. Not skim, not half pay attention. Listen. Because if you ever find yourself tempted to do what my friend did, you'll want every single warning burned into your memory. I'm not here to entertain you, I'm here to save you from making the same mistake. Though part of me wonders if even that's possible anymore. It started with something that seemed stupidly harmless. A laptop. Just a laptop. Not cursed, not glowing red, not screaming from its box when it arrived. No. At first it was ordinary. The kind of thing you could buy used from a pawn shop. That's how they get you. Horror doesn't always knock with bloody hands. Sometimes it slips in wearing everyday clothes. But my friend didn't buy it from a pawn shop. He went digging in a place where curiosity curdles into danger, the dark web. You've probably heard the stories: illegal markets, hacked accounts, unspeakable videos. Most people laugh, shake their heads, and never go deeper than creepy rumors on Reddit. My friend didn't laugh. He wanted proof. He wanted access. And he found something that promised both. That's where I need to stop myself, because there are details I can't share. Not won't. Can't. I've typed them before and the screen went black. I've tried to say them out loud, and the words stuck in my throat like something was holding them back. Believe me, if you think I'm hiding secrets to sound dramatic, you're wrong. I'm giving you as much as I can without inviting it back. What I can tell you is this. When the package arrived, everything I knew about friendship, about reality, even about technology itself, it cracked open. Imagine living your normal life, then realizing that the objects around you, the people you trust, even your own reflection might not belong to you anymore. That's the kind of shift this laptop brought with it. I've replayed it 1,000 times in my head, trying to spot the moment when we could have stopped. Maybe when he first mentioned the forum. Maybe when I saw the box on his desk. Maybe when the screen flickered and the air in the room grew too heavy to breathe. But regret is useless. What's done is done. To understand what happened to him, and to me, you have to go back to the night it arrived. Before everything went wrong, life was painfully ordinary. The kind of ordinary that feels boring when you're living it, but golden once it's gone. Back then, it was just me and Ethan, my best friend since middle school. We weren't the most popular kids, or the smartest, or the ones winning trophies. On weekends, we were just us. Two guys killing time with video games, late-night energy drinks, and inside jokes no one else would ever understand. Ethan had this laugh that cracked in the middle, like his voice couldn't keep up with his own amusement. He was the kind of friend who'd text me at 2 a.m. with something like, "Bro, what if the moon is just Earth's eye and it blinks when we sleep?" and expect a serious reply. And I'd give one because that was our thing, tossing dumb theories. Back and forth until the sun came up. Our weekends followed a script. I'd bike over to his place, we'd raid his mom's fridge for leftover pizza, and then we'd marathon whatever game had us hooked that month. Minecraft phases. League of Legends disasters. A brief obsession with Five Nights at Freddy's mods that left us both jumpy for weeks. Normal stuff. Ordinary, harmless fun. I remember one night in particular. We were sprawled on the floor of his room, empty cans of Monster scattered around us like trophies of survival. He was mashing buttons, trying to beat me in Smash Bros. And I said, "You realize I've literally never lost to you on this map, right?" "Shut up," he laughed, eyes glued to the screen. "One day I'll beat you, and when I do, it's going in the history books." "You'd have to write the book yourself," I shot back. "No one else would care." That was Ethan. Competitive, Goofy, endlessly curious about the weirdest corners of the internet, but never reckless. At least, that's how I saw him. He wasn't the type to mess with the dark web. He wasn't the type to chase danger for the thrill of it. He was my safe place, the friend who kept me sane when the world felt too sharp. Looking back, I wonder if I ever really knew him at all. Because, slowly, almost invisibly, cracks started to form. Little things. He'd mention forums I'd never heard of, half-whispered stories about stuff you can't find on Google. At first, I thought it was just his curiosity spilling into late-night banter, another dumb theory to add to our pile. But there was something different in the way he said it. Less joking, more serious. One afternoon, while we were scrolling through memes, he leaned back in his chair and said casually, like he was commenting on the weather, "You know, there are things online you can't buy anywhere else. Stuff that doesn't exist on Amazon or eBay." I laughed it off. "Yeah, like what? Cursed beanie babies?" He didn't laugh. He just smirked, eyes flicking toward me like he was keeping a secret. And that was the first moment I felt it, a shift, a tiny shadow creeping across the ordinary life we'd built. I ignored it then. I wish I hadn't. Ethan had always been curious. But curiosity has a way of mutating into something darker when you feed it too much. At first it was harmless. He'd send me screenshots of strange Reddit threads or tell me about creepy ARGs he stumbled across on YouTube. We'd laugh, speculate, and move on. But somewhere along the way, his fascination turned into fixation. It started small. He began staying up later than usual, not to game or chat, but to lurk in corners of the internet I didn't recognize. I'd log into Discord and see his status set to online at 3 or 4 a.m., even though he wasn't messaging me. When I asked what he was doing, he'd shrug and say, "Just browsing," but the way he said it, it wasn't casual. It was like he didn't want me to know, but also wanted me to ask more. "Browsing what?" I pressed one night. He smirked, eyes half hidden by the glow of his monitor. "Stuff you can't exactly Google." That's when the forums came into the picture, places buried so deep they didn't even have names you could search. I'll be honest with you, I wish I could tell you what they were called, but even typing the words now makes my stomach turn. It's not just fear. It's like something in me refuses to let them out, as if mentioning them would be opening a door best left locked. All I can say is that they weren't just illegal. They felt wrong, like the internet itself was rotting in those places. Ethan, though, he was hooked. He'd talk about them with this feverish excitement, the way we used to talk about new game releases. "You wouldn't believe the stuff people sell there," he told me one night. "Not just drugs or stolen credit cards, things you can't even imagine, things that shouldn't exist." "Yeah, sounds totally safe," I shot, back rolling my eyes. "What's next? Ordering haunted dolls?" He laughed, but didn't deny it. "You think it's all fake, but I've seen things. Listings for stuff that makes no sense. Old hardware with warnings not to power them on. Files that claim to show the real history of the world. Even bodies." I stared at him, half expecting him to crack a grin and say he was joking. But he didn't. His eyes stayed on the screen, hungry, almost shining. "Ethan, man, that's not curiosity. That's a death wish." "Or it's the truth," he whispered. That was when I realized something had shifted in him. He wasn't just browsing for thrills anymore. He was searching for something. It became all he talked about, in fragments and riddles. He started skipping our usual gaming nights. When I'd come over, his desk would be littered with scribbled notes, URLs, usernames, strange symbols I didn't recognize. He'd minimize windows the second I glanced at his screen like he was guarding secrets from me. And then one evening he told me, "There's a guy selling a laptop," he said, his voice calm but his hands restless, drumming on the desk. Not just any laptop. This thing, it's supposed to contain files, programs, stuff people kill to hide, stuff that changes the way you see everything. I groaned. "Ethan, you're not seriously thinking about buying some sketchy computer from a random psycho online." He looked at me then, really looked, with this intensity that made my chest tighten. "You don't get it. This isn't like buying weed from a stranger. This is bigger. It's proof. Proof that the stories are real. That the world is darker than anyone wants to admit. You realize how insane that sounds?" I asked. He grinned faintly, almost like he enjoyed how much it unsettled me. "Insane, maybe. But if I can hold it in my hands, if I can see it with my own eyes, then I'll know." I told him to drop it. I told him he was getting in too deep, that nothing good could come from it. But Ethan never listened once his mind was made up. The days after that felt like waiting for a storm you can't stop. He became distant, checking his phone obsessively, muttering about shipping delays and clearance. His mom thought he was stressed about exams. I knew better. And then one Friday evening, when I biked over to his house, I saw it. A plain cardboard box sitting on his desk, unopened, almost humming with the weight of everything inside. The laptop had arrived. The box was so plain it almost looked suspicious in its simplicity. No logos, no fragile stickers, no barcodes or shipping labels. Just a brown, battered cardboard shell, like something you'd fish out of a recycling bin. But even before Ethan sliced the tape open, I could feel it. An odd weight in the air, heavy and electric, like standing too close to a thunderstorm. He grinned at me as he pulled it onto his desk. "Told you it was real?" "Yeah," I muttered, forcing a laugh. "Real cardboard." But my smile didn't reach my eyes. I didn't, like the way the box sat there, too still, as if it were holding its breath.